Hey everyone, and welcome back to Dropship CEO Module 2 Ship and Source Your Product. I'm Robert Plank. We have Lance Tamashiro here, and the one idea I want you to keep in mind throughout this coming module right now is you remember when you first learned to drive, or if you learned to drive, you had to read that book that gave you those rules of driving? Well, the one thing out of all the, drive this way and use this turn thing, out of all the stuff, the one thing that's always going to stick with me is they had some sentence in there that was something like, millions of other people have learned to drive, and we want you to learn to drive. And so along these lines, we're going to have some of these kind of maybe awkward or unfamiliar, shipping and logistics terms today. But the thing to remember is that those are not thrown in there to trip you up. Those are in there because that's the terminology, the language they use in their world, and it was not designed for you, so you have to adjust a tiny bit to just to function in this new space. And so, Amazon wants you to send them a bunch of products and have in their inventory and for you to make sales. And Lance and I want you to have all these things in your inventory. So far, you scanned and sent some stuff into Amazon, and now it's time to scale it up and take it to the next level and actually have someone else make a product for you and send in 100, 500, 1,000 units, not just one at a time. So that's what we're going to be doing today. What's up with you in your neck of the woods, Lance?
Oh, things are going fantastic. I actually, and we'll show this here in a minute, some of the stuff that Grace went and picked out. We shipped in a whole bunch of boxes, and literally within hours of Amazon receiving and checking the inventory in, we started getting sales in. So we're going to sort of talk about some of that really quick, but you're right. There is that whole business model that we taught in Module 1, and what we're really going to do is sort of ramp that up. And I mean, there are people all over the world that make a full-time living with what we showed you in Module 1. But what we want to do is really take that to the next level so you can get your hands off a little bit and have a lot of fun. And I think what Robert mentioned at the very beginning is true. We're going to have a lot of terminology today. There's a lot of steps that are going to be gone through. We're going to tell you what all of the steps are, and then we're actually going to go and do them along with you. Robert and I are going to pick a product. We're going to source a product. We're going to order a product. We're going to do all of the stuff along with you today so that you can see it go through the process. And what I want you to keep in mind is that some of the things when we tell you what we're going to be doing may not all fit together, but it will as soon as we show you. So we want to make sure that we're sort of telling you what we're going to do and then doing it, because there is a bunch of stuff. But this is where it gets really cool. I mean, this is where you get a product that nobody else can piggyback off of, like what we did in the last module where we found something that was already selling, we bought that product, sent it in, used their listing. What we're going to show you today is how to make it so that you can find and create your own bestseller, but also make it so that nobody else can compete with you. And that makes it really, really cool when you are able to just sell product on Amazon that way. So first of all, what we're going to be going through today is we're going to talk really briefly about Module 1. I'm going to show you some of the stuff, do a quick recap of the results that we've been getting, stuff that we've been selling in, and just a quick little recap. And then we're going to talk about, well, what is the difference between this thing called scanning, which is what we talked about in the last module, where you go out, find product at a cheap price, sell it at a higher price, versus this whole idea of private labeling your own product so that you are the creator of it, you are the owner of it, and nobody can compete with you. We're going to show you how to find a product. And here's what's really cool about the way that Amazon works and the way all of this is that you can pretty much be sure that you have a product that is a winner before you even try to buy it, before you even create your own, based on what's already happening on Amazon. We're going to go through that process, show you all of it. We're going to talk about how you find a supplier. So if you find a product that you decide you want to create, and what's cool is it's backwards than all of the stuff that you're typically taught in internet marketing, right? Where people typically say, what you do is you go find a bunch of people with a passion, like golfers, and then you find out what they want to do, like hit the ball farther, and then you create a product about that. What we're going to do is the exact opposite. We're going to go find out what is already selling, and then we are going to create a product around that, and we're going to find a supplier that can create basically exactly what is already selling on Amazon. So we already know that it works. Then we're going to show you how you contact these suppliers, how you order your products, and then what we need to do is create an initial listing. And this is like the easiest part. So basically, instead of piggybacking off of a listing that exists, we're going to create our own. And it's just a really quick, simple process today, because what we're going to do in Module 3 is show you how to make a good listing, how to make sure that it gets high in the rankings, how to make sure that you are out competing your competition. But we need this initial listing so that we can get shipping labels, the labels that we made in the Module 1, for our supplier. And this is really cool, because now what happens is that once you find a supplier, once you get a product, once they create it for you, you no longer have to have it shipped to you and then shipped into Amazon. They will ship it directly into Amazon for you. So once you get a product that works and is and accomplishes what you want, well, then all you do is call up your supplier, say send more in, send them the shipping labels, wait for Amazon to receive it. Becomes pretty cool. And then of course we're going to do a challenge to make sure that you can find your own product, find a supplier, and get it sent into Amazon so that you can start selling your own and be ready for Module 3, where we really start ramping this up. So before we get into that, let's talk about Module 1. Now remember, the whole point of Module 1 is basically we want you to be familiar with, well, first of all, it's a full business model, right? Buy low, sell high. But we also wanted you to go through that process so that you have your selling account set up, so that you could start to get familiar with it, so you could sort of figure out some of the language and the process and what it's like actually sending something in, so that it becomes really easy now in this module. So if you haven't done the Module 1 challenge, make sure you go and do that as soon as you can. And remember, Module 1, very important, that the product that you chose in that had to have an existing barcode. Why? Well, because you could then leverage existing traffic and listings, right? And what we did was we told you, when you're going out and scanning products, so looking them up on Amazon, seeing what's out there and working, is that we told you had to have some set criteria. First of all, it had to have an existing barcode so that you could make sure it was actually selling on Amazon. And what you wanted to make sure was that it sells on Amazon for at least 3 times what you pay for it. So if you buy something for $2, it sells for at least 3 times that. So you might buy something for $2, sell it for $10. You might buy something for $5, make sure it sells for at least $15. So you want to make sure it sells for at least 3 times what you pay for it. You wanted to make sure that it sells for at least $10 or more on Amazon. The reason for that is, well, you want to make sure that after all said and done, you basically make back 100% of your profit. So if you spend $5, you sell it for 15 on Amazon, that means that after the fees and all of that, you'll pretty much get $10 back. $5 to replenish what you paid for it, $5 in actual profit. You want to make sure that the Amazon bestseller rank was under 100,000. Now remember, the whole point with seller rank is the lower the better. So think like, the top 10 chart. 10 isn't the best, 1 is the best. So if it's under 100,000, the closer you can get to 1 means that it's being sold actively on Amazon. You want something that weighs less than 5 pounds. It's neatly packaged, so there's no bats, no golf clubs, no loose parts. It's all sort of together. And if you meet all of those criteria, well, we'll show you sort of what happens, and it makes it really easy. You're going to have something that has a good chance of selling right out of the gate. So another bonus was there's lots of regular sellers, right? Fulfilled by merchant sellers, but no other FBA sellers. If you could find one of those, great. If not, no big deal. And remember the rule of thumb, you can easily hold it in one hand and can be repackaged. And I mean, I know it seems like a lot of criteria, but if you go to the store and start scanning, you're going to find that it's super simple. And I know, Robert, even you went, I think 2 days ago, you finally went out, and I know you went out to just try this out and start scanning stuff. I mean, you ended up sending me some pictures of just like tons and tons of stuff that you ended up buying in like just a really short amount of time.
Yeah, and I mean, if anyone's having trouble finding stuff, I mean, what I did was I went to like the local like, well, we have like a thing called Big Lots, but like a discount store, and it went right to the as seen on TV area, or like where things were on sale. And I thought, what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna scan around for like 10 minutes, and maybe I'll find one thing. But within like under a minute, I found something, and the way it ended up working was, I guess I would say, out of every, like, say, 5 things I scanned, well, then I would scan one of them, and maybe like the barcode couldn't find it, right? I'd scan another one, and then it would find it, but like the ranking wouldn't be high enough. And I would scan another one, and then the price on Amazon would usually be either like maybe $1 or two higher, or double, so almost that 3 times, but not quite. But then the remaining 2 out of 5 would be something that I could use. And I was really surprised, because I thought that, I thought I would have to scan like 20, 30 things, but pretty much out of every 5 things I scanned, about two of them met that criteria, and it ended up just like you, filling up a whole shopping cart worth of stuff. I think about $80 worth of stuff. And I know that some people have been doing their own thing, and I guess that's fine. But here's the thing: is the whole point of that module was for you to go up there and find some stuff from the store, scan it, mail it in. And that doesn't mean, finding it on eBay. It doesn't mean mailing it out yourself. Remember, that's called fulfilled by merchant. We do the fulfilled by Amazon. And then the math also ends up being really easy, because if you look at it and you're just looking for triple the price, we know that a certain slice of that will be taken out by shipping, by like a few pennies to for them to store it, a few pennies for them to process it. So we can pretty much conservatively estimate that if we find a 3 times the price, we're going to end up with about 2 times our money back, right? So that means if you see something for $10 on the on the store shelf, and you know that it's listed on Amazon for $30, we know that you can conservatively estimate that you'll get $20 back. So you make, double your money, basically. So that means if you can pick up $50 worth of stuff at the store, then that means about a $50 profit. And we know that it will sell as well, because we're looking for that 100K selling rank. So we know that it's not going to sit in Amazon for longer than a month, and we'll make our money back from that too. So I mean, I was surprised at how quickly I was able to find stuff.
Yeah, and one of the things, so what I did was right after the call and the next module is I went ahead and sent in some stuff. And so here's the thing. So once you send in your boxes, remember, at any time you can go to your inventory up here. This is your Seller Central account, and go to Manage FBA Shipments. And what you can see is, well, we shipped in this one. We didn't ship. We actually deleted this shipment down here, but we shipped in 6 boxes into Amazon. And I don't know if you noticed over here, but that shipping, that's this charge right here, the minus $50.18. That's my balance right now. That's what I paid for the shipping to send in all of those boxes and all of those products. The other thing that you'll notice is some of them already made it to Amazon. That's what this closed means. It looks like Amazon just received another one here today, but these closed ones, Amazon already got in, checked in, received, and put in inventory and listed on Amazon. I've got a couple that are still in transit, and again, one that was just delivered today. But here's the cool thing. So yesterday afternoon, 2 of these boxes got received and checked in and listed on Amazon. If I go to my Amazon account, you'll look over here and see that already 2 of those products have sold, and I've done nothing except checked it in. So if I go, I can look at my inventory, manage inventory, and you can see all of the things here that we have shipped in. So you can see there's this foot cleaner, this space saver, this meatloaf pan set, this perfect sit-up thing, all kinds of things. But then you'll see, so all of this stuff's in transit, but some of it got there. And once it gets there, I can sort by what's available, and it'll show me what's out there and listed. So I've got 4 of these things listed, 2 of these things, 1 of these. And so it automatically shows up. I can see what my price is. I can change it at any time. But now, here's what's cool. I saw that 2 things had sold. I can go to my front screen here, view my sales statistics, and so nothing sold yet today, but I can go over here and go detail page sales and traffic. And check it out. I sold this chic shaper thing. I bought this for $2.50. Sold for $11.91, and I sold one of these Razor Soul Skate Blues. Paid $5 for it. Sold it for $21.58. Already less than 24 hours hits there. Amazon has received the order. They'll send it out for me. All I have to do is just sit back and wait. And so if you find stuff like that, I mean, the cool thing is that I saw that skate Soul Skate thing sold. I can get them for $5 right now. It's sold really, really fast. I also found out I can go back to the store. I actually called Big Lots last night, asked them if they had any more in the back. They do. So I told them to leave them, and we're going to go pick the rest of them up this afternoon. So I can get a whole bunch of them now and get them sent in. So this balance right here doesn't reflect any of my profit that's come in yet. So you can see it just by selling two things. I'm eating that shipping right away and already making sales. So I mean, pretty cool, especially when I know that with info products, a lot of people get out there. They don't make two sales in less than 24 hours. With this, pretty easy, pretty simple, and done. So,
And yeah, and I
you know,
mean, and then if you're gonna continue with this business model, just from going around, I found it's easier to, I don't know, like to try to pick up like stuff that is not very similar, because when I went out, I made the mistake of, I guess we found like some different kinds of Tupperware containers, and we found like some small ones and some big ones, and then when I was sending it in Amazon, I had to be really careful and keep it straight and like label the correct one and put in like the correct quantity of the right ones. And so if you find like you said, like there's that Razor scooter or whatever, well then it's like, all right, we'll buy five of those, and then it's easier to keep track. And you and I were talking the other day, Lance, about how once you go and scan even a handful of things, you'll start to just get a feel of what's gonna sell and what's not. And I mean, most of the things I saw on there were all like novelty as seen on TV stuff, like the bra shaper thing, or like the mitt you can use on your phone. So that's good. And then stuff that's like branded with a certain thing, like Spider-Man sheets. Or I saw one of our friends bought or sold like a Jersey Shore trivia game. So you might feel some shame checking out, but that's one of those things where if it's like might be in somewhat limited supply, but because it has that extra branding, it sells for more. And then baby stuff I found, like diapers and like certain kinds of baby bottles. I sent some of those in. And the thing too is, because we're looking for three times, it's like I was walking by a few things and I saw like a paper shredder, and I think it sold for like $20. And I was looking at that, and just by looking at it, I thought, well, this is a really like rinky-dink paper shredder listed for $20. Is that going to sell on Amazon for $60? Well, it doesn't seem like it. But on the other hand, if that had been $5, $10, and I thought, okay, that could sell for 15 or 30, well then now, just by looking at it, now I'll just go ahead and scan it. So I mean, it might seem like, if you haven't gone in yet, you might be thinking, I have to scan all these things. Well, actually, once you do a couple, then it'll be pretty, you get kind of this intuition about it. And even when we went into Big Lots, I think there were only like five people in the store, but two other people were going around scanning stuff. So this scanning thing's kind of catching on, it seems.
Yeah, and I mean, and like you said, I mean, it's a lot of fun, and you sort of build up this intuition for it. And the thing to remember about what we showed you on Module 1, like you sort of allude to, is this is a full business. I mean, especially when you can make 100% profit on something, so you can start building inventory really, really fast. And like I said, if you find something and it sells really fast, like this skate thing is, call the store. I mean, that's literally what we did. Was we called the store, said, do you have any more of these in the back? Don't put them out. I'm coming in to get them tomorrow. And I mean, they're happy to do it because they can just get rid of it as well. And I mean, they're in the business of selling stuff, so why not you as well? So now here's the thing. We've been talking about scanning in Module 1. We're going to move in this module to this whole idea of private labeling and creating your own products. So here's the thing, is with scanning, while it is fun, you're constantly shopping, right? You constantly need to be watching what's going in, worrying about your inventory. Do you have enough? How much do you have to spend to really, get to the income that you want? It's a constant thing that you have to watch. While fun, um, it takes a lot more babysitting, right? Because you're always looking for product. You don't necessarily know that you can get product again. Some stuff you just find and get lucky. Sometimes you get a supplier, but it's different. You're always shopping, right? You're also always competing for that thing called the buy box. Remember when we showed you the listings on Amazon? Well, there's that buy the product on the right, and depending on the price, and there's a bunch of other factors like the your seller ranking and things like that, who Amazon gives the buy box to. And what ends up happening with this sort of scanning model is if you've got lots of competition in it, you basically end up competing price, and you can't really get out of that because, well, anybody can go buy from the supplier that you found. But here's the thing, and why we love this model that we're now going to transition you guys into and talk about today, is this whole idea of private labeling, because it now becomes that there is absolutely no competition. And here's what I mean. If you find a product that you want to get created for you, you basically, because it's your product, you get to create the name for it, and you get to put your own unique product code on it, barcode, UPC label on it, so that nobody else can get your product. If nobody else can get a product with your UPC label, well, then they can't sell it, which means you're now the only one that can sell that particular product. Nobody else can piggyback, which means you've always got the buy box, and you don't have to constantly shop because you know what you're going to sell. Now your only competition is people that sell similar items as you, and we're going to be better at selling than they are. What's neat about it is this basically, once you figure out what your product is, get your shipping all figured out, get a supplier that you like and trust, it becomes hands off, right? Because once you have that winning product, basically you just sit back, let Amazon sell it, and then when they send you an alert that says that you're getting low on supply, well, what do? You call your supplier, send them the shipping labels, and say, send another X number of units into Amazon for me, send them the shipping labels. Amazon receives it, and they start selling it again and again. So it becomes very hands-off, and I mean, nothing more fun than being able to scan when you want, but also have your product that just works and works and works for you. Now, one of the things that we really want you to do when we talk about this private labeling is we're going to give you some criteria, and it's going to give you a lot of flexibility and things that you can find. What you're going to probably want to do, and we don't want you to do this, is that some of you are going to go out and you're going to find 10 things that are awesome, and you're going to go try to get 10 things sourced, and you're going to go try to do this process with 10 things. I really encourage you not to do that. What I encourage you to do is find one thing, one product. Let's get that product made. Let's get that product selling. Let's get that product optimized, which is what we're going to be doing in Module 3. And once you get that working, then you can go and do another product if you want. But if you start spreading yourself too thin, you're going to end up with too many dishes or balls or whatever they call it up in the air, and you're going to end up with nothing that works. So pick one product, focus on one product, go through this process with one product so that you can optimize it, get it working, and then once you know the process, then you can go and work on another. But I can't stress that enough, that if you go out and try to do this process with 2, 3, 4, 10 products, you're going to end up with nothing that works. So do the process once, get it working, and then you can scale it up from there.
I'm excited about this.
So here's what we're going to do. First of all, I'm going to give you the criteria for finding a product, and then we're going to sort of go through and do this process with you. We'll find something, and we'll do that. So I'm going to throw some stuff out there, some criteria. We're going to show you what the process is, and then we're going to go ahead and do that. So first of all, in order to find a candidate product, here's some of the criteria that you're looking for. You want to find products that are in the top 100 bestseller list for the category. Now, this is different than the bestseller ranking that we were looking at with the scanning. And Amazon actually makes this pretty easy for us. We can actually go to product categories, and they'll tell us what's the top 100 best-selling products in this category. And you just kind of go through there and follow the other criteria and find some products that meet the rest of the criteria. So we want something that is in the top 100 bestseller list for its category or for a category. We want to make sure it has at least 20 reviews so we can see if people like the product. If people are reviewing it, what does that mean? Well, it means they're selling enough for people to be reviewing it. We want the price to be between $10 and $50. And here's why. I mean, a couple of reasons. First of all, we want to be able to make a profit on stuff, and we're going to have bigger margins on stuff that we're creating on our own than we are with scanning. But we also want to keep it in the range where we can get enough of it sourced. I mean, if you go find something that's $100, it's a little bit harder to sell, but it's also more expensive for you to get sourced, right? So if you keep it in something that's selling between $10 and $50, you can something that's easier to sell on Amazon, plus something that you can afford to get sourced pretty simply.
And just to be clear, what you said there is this $10 is $50. This is what it's selling for. This is the Amazon price. So I mean, it might cost you 10 cents, a dollar, $2. That's not what we're looking at. We're looking at, does it sell on Amazon when you're looking through these products for 10 to 50?
Yep. So, and again, just keep these in mind. We're just going to be going through and looking for candidate products that we might want. So top 100 list, at least 20 reviews, prices between $10 and $50, and more importantly, something that has private label potential. Okay, and we'll kind of show you this as we go through the process. But what I mean by that is, don't go and look up something and go, oh, cool, like OtterBoxes sell really well, or iPhones sell really well, or Monopoly games sell really well. Why? Those sell really well because people know what they are, they're brand driven, right? So you can't really go out and private label an OtterBox, right? Because people know of them because of the brand. You can't go out and private label an iPhone because Apple owns the brand. So it needs to meet all of the criteria. It has to have something that you could potentially private label.
And you know what,
the profit margin needs to, yep.
And I don't know how to explain this exactly, but it's like we're looking for like simple objects, right? And because I mean things that we can easily private label, or like, you know, you have these I mean, there's like, you know, spatulas out there. There's like water bottles out there. That's something where like it's easier for them to just roll it off the production line and put a name on it. But on the other hand, like say like a computer monitor, I mean, it might not be very easy to private label. And I guess that's what we're looking for. We're not looking for like some crazy like electronic device. We're looking for like just some everyday kind of household item, right?
And you know, another thing too, even with electronic devices, you want to be careful, because what if you order 100 of them and they don't work, right? And then you've got potential customer service issues. So things that aren't going to have those kind of issues, I would try to stay away from.
And another area we kind of stay away from are things like, you know, I know it's tempting to do things like supplements, but then you're getting into, well, like, is this, you know, FDA approved and stuff like that. So we're trying to play it safe instead and keep it simple and just go for just a regular object, right?
Yep, absolutely. And we'll see that. I mean, there's tons of this that you will be able to do. You've you also want to make sure that there's a profit margin of at least 100% or more. So for example, if it costs you $10 to buy it, then you want to make sure that you can at least sell it for $20. And again, at this point when we're looking at stuff, you're going to have to use sort of common sense. It's like what Robert was talking about when he was walking down the aisles and he saw something for a shredder for $20 and just said, is this something I could sell for $60? Probably not. So just moved on. So same type of thing. We're looking for something where if we buy it, we can at least sell it for double what we get for it. And then we want to make sure that there's at least 3 other similar products. Okay, so if we find something, we want to make sure that there's at least 3 other products that sell the same type of thing. And you can do a keyword search, but also when you look at the listing of products, Amazon will show you at the bottom like other products people looked at, and usually you'll be able to see, oh, here's other products that are the same. So you want to make sure there's at least 3 other similar products. If you do these, you're going to come up with a bunch of candidates that you can probably become winners right off the bat. Why? Well, you know that they sell, you know what people think about them, you know you can private label them, and you know you've got your profit margin built in. Pretty simple, pretty easy to do. So these are the criteria that I want you to keep in mind as we go through this process. Now, how do we actually find these candidate products? Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to, first of all, we're going to check Amazon's bestseller list, okay? Now, Amazon makes this really easy for us to do. For most categories, what we can do is we can go to Amazon.com, and on the left-hand side, there is a drop-down box that says Shop by Department. At the very bottom of that, there's a link that says Full Store Directory, and what that's going to do is it's going to give us every major category on Amazon, and if you click on those, a lot of times you can just find a link that says bestseller. Some of the time you can't, depending on the category. But what you can do if that happens is, there's another little trick, and we'll show you both of these, is you can go to google.com, type in Amazon bestseller, and they have a list from Amazon of every bestseller in every category. So if you're having a hard time, that's an alternate way to do that. And like I said, some categories, depending on what they are on Amazon, they don't make it really easy for you to find. That's when you go to the seller list, and we'll show you that. So what you want to do is you look at the best sellers in each category and just kind of scan through them. Is it something that I think has at least 20 reviews, because we already know it's in the top 100, so it meets the first criteria? Does it have the reviews? Does it meet the price? And does it have the private label potential that we're looking for? And what we're going to do as we're doing this is we're going to create a spreadsheet on Google Drive that just has a couple of things so we can keep track of the things that we find. We're going to have the name of the product, the URL to the product so we can find it again on Amazon, the Amazon price, and then we'll have columns that we don't need to fill in yet for the private label price, and then potential suppliers. And what we're going to do is we're going to find 10 potential products that we might want to get private labeled. And again, I want you to remember these things as we're choosing these products. Ask yourself a couple of questions. Does it meet the criteria that we already talked about? And again, is this something that I could potentially private label? And if it is, can I afford the inventory for it? And are they small? So the one hand, simple, all of the things that we've already talked about.
And
Okay?
when you say the one hand rule, that's when we said, like when you were scanning items, is it something that you can hold in one hand? And if it's some big hunk of machinery, then it's not going to be a good fit. But if it's something like, we talked about like board game sized, pocket sized, like we said, like kitchenware, stuff like that is about the right size where you could hold it comfortably in one hand.
And again, at this step that we're going to do, and I mean, let's do all of this. Let's find some products. And again, we don't know anything about any of the products we're going to find, except that they are best sellers in their category. We want to find something that's got 20 reviews, that's priced between $10 and $50, and has private label potential. And 3 other similar products. And if we do those things, we're going to end up in a really good position. So here's what I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going to go to, if you have a Gmail account or a Google account, you can go to google.com/drive, and you can create basically a new spreadsheet. So I'm going to create that spreadsheet so that we have that available. So I'm going to go to create and left click. Then I'm going to go to spreadsheet. And when this comes up, I'm going to change the title of this spreadsheet to potential products. And then I'm just going to make a couple of columns here. So I'm just going to put the name. We'll put the Amazon URL so we can get back to it really easy. And we'll put the Amazon price. And that's pretty much all we're going to worry about right now. And I'll just add these in here now. Just so we've got these private label, price, and supplier. Okay,
And
we'll
yep, so
use those in a later part of this session.
and once again, if you haven't seen Google Drive, this is basically just like, Microsoft Excel, but in your web browser. And the cool thing about this is you can use this from any place where you have an internet connection, any computer, phone, tablet, and even share it with other people if you have other people you're coordinating with, if others are like sending in, or one person's finding the products, one person's shipping in. So basically, if you haven't seen this, Google Drive, it's just Microsoft Excel in a web browser.
All right, so we've got our spreadsheet set up. And then what we'll do is we'll go to Amazon.com. And remember, the first thing I said is if you go over here, if you can find this on the top left, right under where it says Amazon Try Prime, and I hover over where it says Shop by Department, I can scroll all the way down to the bottom to where it says Full Store Directory. Okay, so I'm going to go to Full Store Directory and check out what it gives me here. It gives me the Earth's biggest selection of products. So every kind of thing that Amazon sells split into categories. Now here's the thing. For what we're doing, we can pretty much ignore everything in these first two columns. Okay, we don't want to sell MP3s. We don't want to sell digital games. We're not talking about books or Kindle or stuff for Amazon Cloud Drive or movies or any of that, right? We're talking about getting stuff that we can sell on our own. These are all kind of stuff that are already other people's products or digital. So we can ignore these first two columns on the left, but over here on the right, all kinds of things that we can look at, right? So there's electronics, toys, kids and baby, clothing, sports and outdoors, exercise stuff, home and garden, automobile stuff I might stay away from, beauty, health, and grocery, depending on what it is. I guess, I mean, I wouldn't probably sell cosmetics, but I might sell like cosmetic accessories. I mean, and I guess we can look at that, right?
Yeah,
That
because
might be a
I
good
mean,
place to start.
stuff like combs or Q-tips. I mean, that's
Yeah.
pretty easy to do.
So, I mean, let's start here and just see what happens. I'm going to go to all beauty. And then remember I said we want to find the best sellers. Okay, and some categories they'll show it to you, some categories they won't. Since this one does, let's go ahead and look at what it's got. See up here, it's kind of hidden, but it says best sellers. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And again, some categories will not show you that. And we're going to show you some other ways to find that in a minute, but I'm going to go to best sellers and let's see what we got. So, I mean, for me, I wouldn't, this you could probably white label. I probably wouldn't want to. Um, Nail art brushes, I bet you we could private label these, but 88 cents. I don't want to sell that. This looks like it's brand driven. It looks like I don't know what they even
Hair
call it, like
straightener, I think.
hair something.
Yeah.
This looks like it's Olay, which is a brand name. Can't do that. These things, I don't know what they are, but I guarantee you we could probably private label those. Doesn't meet our price. I don't know anything about this. Looks like something that's scary to me. So as I'm scrolling down, it looks like a lot of this stuff is either brand-driven stuff or stuff that looks a little bit scary to me, meaning like I don't want to sell stuff that people are putting on their skin that might have FDA issues or stuff like that. Well, here's something. I mean, these types of brushes, 14.97, and I mean, obviously we probably can't do these exact ones, but I mean, this is kind of interesting. So I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to copy this. We'll stick this in the name, so then I'll just paste that in. And then I need the Amazon URL so I can find it again. If I right click here and do copy link address, I can have that. And we'll paste this in here. And our Amazon price was $14.79. $14.79. So, I mean, something that we could look at. Let's see what else we've got. Most of this. And you can see down here, I've got the top 100 list. Derma roller. I mean, maybe, right? Something like
Could
this.
be, yeah.
We'll grab this. We'll do copy so I get just the
And
text.
and so yeah, so just to be clear, we're skipping over things that aren't in the price range, and we're skipping over like the stuff like hair dryers and things like that. There's electrical issues. We don't want 500 hair dryers that are catching on fire. And yeah, we skip over lotions, creams, liquid kind of stuff because that's a whole other set of red tape there.
And then, all right. So, I mean, I don't really know this. See, here's another, what's interesting? See, this is the same type of thing as the other one we
The
got.
same
So we
brand, but
see
like a
two,
different
but,
set of stuff.
but
Yeah.
a set of basically it's some kind of makeup brushes in a carrying case, right?
Yeah.
So I mean that one might be something just because we've seen it now twice in the top 100, that type of product. And I mean, here's another one, a brush that's in the top 100. So if you know this, you might want to look around. Okay. Now there's other stuff. So let's look at tools and accessories here. So now I look. So nail brushes doesn't meet it. So all right. I mean, that's I'm not really into this category. So let's like go back and try another one. So we'll go to departments. Um, oops, department, full store directory, and let's do outdoor stuff. I mean, that's big where I'm at. So we'll do like outdoor gear. See what we got. So now the first thing I see is, well, check this out. That bestseller thing isn't there. But I mean, they've got to have bestsellers and it's nowhere on this page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Google and we'll type in Amazon best sellers. Okay. And if you look right here, the most popular items on Amazon, and they hide it. It's like Amazon.com bestsellers ZGBS, and it says the most popular items on Amazon. And we'll have to stick that link in the members area for you guys as well. But now what I can do is if you look, I've got this bestseller tab, mover and shaker tab, all of these new things. So now I can do bestsellers in any department. So let's see, that was sports and outdoors. And then I wanted, what was I looking at? Well, we'll start here, sports and outdoors, and just sort of see what there is. So I know I can't white label this. I can't white label Camelback, but I bet you we could white label a private label a bottle like this. I guarantee you we could find some of these, but not really in our price range.
And the
I,
other thing too is, we mentioned like the one hand rule. So some of the things like in this category, like we don't want to private label things like weights, but if there's things like like resistance bands where it's light enough, things like that could work.
yep, these could work, and I bet you we could find. I mean, this actually might be a good one. We don't need, so we'll just call this resistance bands, and let's highlight this, and we'll copy that, because I bet, I mean, what are those? Those aren't anything, right? They're just like,
Yeah, I mean it's like a stretchy jump rope, and you just like pull it apart as hard as you
so
can.
we'll do copy link address, and those sell for 32.99. Okay, and let's keep looking here. I don't want to sell knives, don't want to sell kettlebells. These things are kind of interesting,
Flashlights, yeah.
but well, they're you know what this is? This is the portable power chargers,
Oh, okay.
the portable like USB power chargers. But I'm a little nervous about those because um, what if they don't work? But still, I mean that's pretty close. I mean 979 is pushing it, but I mean that's something that I guarantee you we could get made. So we'll do copy link address. And what was that, 997? I mean, paracord nylon. Let's see what else we've got here. Another water bottle, another water bottle. I mean, I guess we should look at these because these water bottles keep showing up, right? So we can take a look at that. And what was that selling for? So we'll say $9, $10. And all right, so there's some stuff here. Let's see what other kind of categories we've got here. Hunting and fishing. Oh, kind of scroll around. Let's take a look and see what they give us here. So I wanted to find outdoor recreation because I was looking at that camping stuff. There it is, camping and hiking. So again, seeing the water bottle, some personal water filter.
And so by the way, when you're looking and you said you want like a top 10 category, it doesn't matter if it's in a subcategory, right? Doesn't matter
No,
how far
just
you drill
in
down.
its category. Yep, in its category. I'm seeing a lot of these water bottles. Survival fire starters. And we'll copy link address. And what was that? That was
1182.
1182. And another water bottle. So, I mean, water bottles look pretty popular. Another water bottle. Another water bottle. Another water bottle. Another fire starter. Another water bottle. Another water bottle. Wow. So I'm seeing, I mean, the things that are coming up, I'm seeing lots of water bottles in the top 10. I mean, in the
Or
top
top
100.
100, right? We
Yep.
misspoke.
And I'm seeing another one. Um, okay. So, I mean, basically, there's an infinite number of um, products here that you can pick. And I mean, you've got all of these different categories to go through. And again, you can just spend, I wouldn't spend a whole bunch of time. I mean, this thing you can probably get white labeled. Um, and just kind of go around in categories that you're sort of interested in and find stuff that can be white labeled. I mean, we probably spent like what 5 or 10 minutes here. We got ourselves 7 things. So get yourself, 10 items. Don't spend forever on it that you could potentially get. And there's 2 things that I sort of saw a lot of on here was the stainless steel water bottles. I saw a lot of these fire starter things and these resistance bands are 3 things that sort of stuck out in my mind that kind of meet all of our criteria. So we've got this list of stuff. So now what do we do with it? And I mean, again, there is literally every planet on the earth, as Amazon says, that you can do this with. And the neat thing is that they show you all of their top sellers. Okay, so you can just go into each category, find the top sellers, and find something that you would be able to private label. So then what you do once you've got your product list is we need to find out if we can get them private labeled for ourselves and if we can do it for a price that makes sense, right?
And just in case no one's heard of this term private label, it means that that say like get them to make a water bottle with your name on it, with your brand name on it, so it's sold by you.
So it's sold by you, and so you can have your own barcode and UPC code on it as well. So we're going to search suppliers, and in order to find some suppliers, what we're going to do is use this site called Google. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to type in the name of the product, or we're going to try to find sort of the keywords where that product comes up with on Amazon, type in that product, and then the words private label. And I would say 8 times out of 10, almost every single time, not 9 times out of 10, but 8 times out of 10, this search will get you back some suppliers that will work for you. If that doesn't work, you can do the product plus supplier. You can do product plus wholesale. And again, you just put in your product that you're looking for in terms here. But what'll happen is you'll get a bunch of listings back a lot of times where you might have Amazon listings in there. You obviously don't want those. You might have other sites that you don't want that show up. So you can exclude these sites by adding into your search. And again, we're going to show you this, the minus sign, site colon, and then the site that you want to remove from your listings that come back. And then what you do is you add each potential supplier URL to your spreadsheet so that you can go back and then we can contact them. So let's take a look and see if we can find some suppliers. So the first thing is, remember let's start with the resistance bands. So what I'm going to do is, I think what they would come up with would be resistance bands, right? So I'm just going to type this in here. Okay, cool. There it is, resistance bands in Amazon, because I want to make sure that there's other companies selling them. So Black Mountain, I don't know if this is an actual exercise company or if this is P90X or something, no idea. But I'm seeing resistance bands. Here's some more that are the same. These are a little bit different. Some more. So I've definitely got other companies that are selling these resistance bands, which is cool because now what we can do is we know that in Amazon, that's the search, so that's the word we want to use in Google. So we'll go to here and we'll go over to Google and we're just going to type in resistance bands, and I'm putting this in quotation marks so that it finds me not like sites with resistance and bands, but it has them together. And then I'm going to put private label. Oops. And I meant private label. And let's see what we get. So I've got Alibaba, which I know is a sourcing site. Fabrication Enterprises, resistance bands, manufacturers, and I bet you if I look at this that this is let's see. Oh no, they're actual manufacturers of them. So here's a whole list of places I can get them manufactured. Cool, so I've got a whole bunch of places here. So I'm just going to open a couple of these up and we'll see what we've got. So we've got this Alibaba site.
And by the way, Lance, does that trick still work where if you go to the Amazon listing, there will be an ad for the private labeler?
So sometimes there is. So and what Robert's saying is, so let's say I'm looking at these resistance bands and I click on one of these and go to the actual listing. And if I scroll down, a lot of times at the very bottom, what you'll find is these product ads from external websites. And a lot of these will be sites where you can actually private label. It looks like these aren't necessarily. So this is somebody else's. This is somebody, and we'll look and see if we can't find some on others. But yeah, a lot of times you can go down here and look, and they'll give you the private labelers will actually be advertising on Amazon right to you. So actually, let's look at this one too. And we'll just open these up. So you can right click. And cool, there's other ones. So let's see what we've brought up here. So here's one that was called body bands. And these, let's see, best price on bands. These look like, what we're looking for. But they also look like they're not made for people to resell. So you can see these are actually selling on this. This actually looks like a site that's just an affiliate to Amazon.
Right, it's a direct.
So the reason I can tell that is these are they all say Prime and they all link. If you look down at the bottom, they all link right back here, and then it's buying from Amazon. So that one we're not interested in.
And we'll be able to tell just based on the price, right? Those resistance bands will be
Yeah.
listed for
Well,
$3.
Yep, exactly. So I'm looking at these. So they've got the kind that I want, but again, I mean, I can't make a profit at $50, right? Can't make a profit at $17. So nothing there. This one, same type of thing. This actually, just because of the reviews and the price, it looks like it's probably at Amazon, so not what I want. But if I come over here, let's see what we've got. So here's some. This is a so now we're at Alibaba, which came up in our Google search, and what I see is here's a company in the United States. So let's see what they've got. They've got these bands which look like they could work. We've got these bands. So let's open this up and see what the actual product looks like. Actually, these look a little bit more like what we're looking for. So let's open these up. And they've got these resistance bands. Unverified supplier. So here's one thing that I would be careful of is if you look at this, there's like nothing on here. Okay. So if you're on Alibaba, this supplier is not verified. There's really no information here on this. I'd be really leery of this particular seller. But what I do see at the bottom is it says they give me a thing that I might be looking for, which is latex bands. So I'm going to just copy this out and I'm going to do a search and see what that brings up for me on Alibaba. And kind of what I'm looking for, right? These different types of bands. Here's some resistance bands. So the other thing is over here, some of these are from China, some are from the US, but they say how long they've been selling on Alibaba, and there's some reviews. So here's one that kind of looks like, what it is that we were looking for. So if I open this in a new tab, it's an 11-piece set. The minimum order that they're telling me is 50. They can supply, what is that, 1,000,000 sets per month. And if I look, they're not telling me how much that they'll cost, but I mean, this is kind of what I'm looking for, right?
And it's funny too because every now and then uh, we'll find one of these sites and the picture will look identical to something that's on Amazon. So we'll say we found their supplier, right?
So I'm going to go back here and we don't know. So I'm going to put unknown right now. And then we'll put a link to the supplier so we can find that again. And let's keep looking around here. So here's the other ones that we brought
And
up.
by the way, there was that get latest price. Is that just a link to their website? Is that what that is?
It's a way to contact
Oh,
them.
okay.
Yes. Um, I'm still looking around here, just making sure. And I mean, here's exactly what we're looking for too. 5 years experience. So let's see what they've got. So yeah, we can talk to them. Um, verified supplier. So here's another one that we could potentially talk to. So put supplier two. So cool. We got those, and I mean, now we've got some suppliers we can look at. Let's look at these fire starter things. So we saw a bunch of those. So we can go to Amazon, and those were, let's just try that fire starter in sports and outdoors. Let's magnesium fire starter kit. Let's just see what comes up with fire
And
starter.
I mean,
Okay, so there it
kind of
is.
funny, right, Lance? How like at first we think we know what the phrase is, and when we search around, there's almost like a secondary keyword. Like we think we're looking for fire starter, but it's more like magnesium fire starter might be what it's listed as in the private label world, right?
Yeah, and here's what I like about this is like this one's got 507. This is a totally different one that's got 1,300 reviews. Here's a whole different one that's got 632 reviews. This one's got 143 reviews, and they're all kind of the same thing. Here's one that's got 632 reviews, 293 reviews. So let's go do our little trick at Google, and we'll say fire starter private label. And so we got a couple back. So we'll try some of these. Open a new tab, 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 and see what we got. So this one says how to private label, but here's what I don't like. I mean, I can't see any products, so I'm just going to immediately go away
And
from this
and it
one.
looks like it's check only, which we don't want because there's a huge delay there.
But here's something interesting. So I brought up this one, and check this out. Okay, now see these products that come up right here? Now watch this. If we go back to Amazon, do those look familiar? I mean, there's these, there's even this one, and there's this one, okay? Now back here, I mean, these look really, really similar, right? So let's check out these. We'll open these in a new tab. So cool.
And by the way,
Five.
do you have to be logged in to see that price? Is that what's going on?
No,
Okay.
nope. They're all different. But but then so here's what's interesting though. 500 order minimum. It's a supplier for 8 years, and comes in 3 different models. Big pictures of it. I mean, this is looking pretty interesting. And some of them will show you the price, some won't. See how they always say, like, get the latest price? Some of them want you to contact them in order to see their prices, which is fine. I mean, let's copy this because I mean, that looks to me like one of the ones there. So we'll go unknown, and we'll put that link in there. So that's interesting. And if we scroll to the bottom here, let's see if it shows us some other ones. It does. So here, well, look at this. Here's another supplier with something that looks the same. Cost is $1 to $2 per piece. So let's take a look at that one. So this one, I mean, looks pretty darn similar. $1 to $2 per piece, 500 piece minimum order.
And then even with that, I mean, they're not sticklers about the minimum order, right?
Nope, nope. And when we talk about contacting them, you can talk about how to do that. So, I mean, this one, the guy's been there for 8 years. Now, here's something too. So see these like features, and they talk about the Army Scout model. Now, watch this, just because I kind of noticed this when we were searching here. This one says Swedish Fire Steel 2.0 Army 12,000 strike fire starter with emergency whistle. When I look at this listing over here, besides the fact that it looks the same, what else does it say? It says developed for the Swedish Department of Defense, Swedish Fire Steel. It says it's got a mini, a scout, and an army model. 13,000, 3,000, 12,000 strikes. Let's go back to Amazon. 12,000 strikes army. I mean, do you think that that could be the same thing?
What a coincidence. It's not
What a
11,000 or
coincidence, right?
13,000, right?
So now I go back over here to Amazon. So this is selling for, let's just take a look at this exact one. And this isn't even really the same one. This doesn't have the compass. This doesn't have the saw that the other one has. This one's selling for $19.38. We can buy basically, I guess, the newer version that's got a compass, the saw, but the exact same thing for $1 to $2 per piece. I mean, pretty interesting. Let's copy this out. We'll go back to our listings and we'll put this here, and I'm going to update this to $1 to $2. $1 to $2. So we got two suppliers there, and I mean, let's just close this out. Let's see what else our search has brought up. So same thing, a couple of other, I mean, this one looks exactly like one of those ones that we were looking at. These also, I mean, tons of options. And cool, so I'm feeling good about that one. This is something totally different. And then the other thing we were looking at were the stainless steel uh, bottles, right? So let's do stainless steel bottle private label. Okay, and let's see what we've got here. So we open this in a new tab, open this in a new tab. We'll just open up the first couple ones of these here and see what we get. Oh, okay, so here, I'm glad this came up. So see how there's some results here that have like Facebook in it? I don't want those. So what I can do is I can go minus site colon facebook.com. We'll update that. And now that listing is gone. Okay, so let's see what we got here. So this one, I'm just kind of looking through. I'm not seeing what I'm looking for. We'll close that. Scan through. I mean, this looks kind of close. 70 cents to $1.60 a piece. 3,000 minimum order. Sometimes you can get around that if you talk to them, but that's a little bit more than I kind of want to negotiate with them right now. $2 to $4, $1 to $5. So let's click on one of these and see if we can bring up some other. So this is $1, 3,000 minimum, but sometimes at the bottom here they'll show other listings. So let's scroll down. Here we go. $2.98. What's this one? 70 cents. So because, let's go check out this one. Double 70 cents to $1.60. Verified seller. So here's the thing, is I'm pretty sure I can get them to send me these in a way lower quantity. So what I'm going to do is grab these just because of the price and because I saw so many of them. And what was that? 70 cents to $1.60. 70 cents to $1.60, and we'll put that there. So now we've got some suppliers, we've got some different stuff to sort of look at. Let's just check these other listings really quick. See if they're the same ones. 50 cents, I kind of like those. Ooh, I kind of like the way these look. Let's see if they have a. I kind of like this one. So let's, and I'm going to grab this one too. And again, like, I wouldn't worry when they say minimum order. Usually they will work with you on that. So here's the thing. So here's the thing, Robert. Somebody's saying like, wow, 500 minimum is huge at $1 a piece. And you know what I'm thinking is, well, first of all, I already know I can make $500 doing the scanning stuff, which is why we showed people how to do that. But also, I mean, how many times would you spend $1 to make your own product that sells at $20?
All day long.
All day long. You have to sell what? What is that? 20 of them to make your money back?
And so
And
when you negotiate, I mean, they might say something like, "Well, you have to pay $3 instead of $2 for a lower quantity, right?"
sometimes they'll do that, and we'll talk about that.
Okay.
In fact, let's talk about that right now because we've found suppliers for three of our our products that we're looking at. And I mean, it's pretty simple to do. Spend a little bit of time, search around the internet. You'll be amazed at what you can find. The other thing is that some of the best suppliers are not on page 1 or 2 of Google. You'll actually find those on the you'll actually find those on the later pages of Google, because I mean they're not in the business of having people, they're not SEO experts. So you might have to look deeper down in order to find those. But here's the thing, is now that we've got some potential suppliers, let's remember what we've done today. We talked about the scanning model, which is a whole business model that you can do. We showed that we're already making sales on stuff that got in there last night. So you can build up your income, you can build that up to buy stuff. We talked about the difference between scanning business model and the private labeling model. Talked about how to find your product, which is going to the best sellers list on Amazon and sort of finding things that meet our criteria, that have 20 reviews, the price points between $10 and $50, and that they have that private label potential. Showed you how to find a supplier using Google. Now what we need to do, and this is where the negotiation piece comes in, is we want to contact the suppliers so that we can order some products from them. Luckily, there's just a couple of base information pieces that we need from them in order to make that decision. And that part's pretty cut and dry. And then what we're going to do after we find a supplier and the one that we want to use and order our products is we're going to create our initial listing for our product on Amazon, and then we're going to create our shipping labels for that supplier. And then of course we're going to do the challenge. So how do you contact your supplier once you have a couple of options that you want to go with? Well, first thing is you want to find the contact information for them, okay? And that'll be on their website, or if you're using Alibaba, on that page. And here's what I would really recommend that you do if possible. Call them. Phone contact is always best. And the reason is that, well, you can ask all of the questions, you can determine whether or not you can get them on the phone, which is always important, and you will build that relationship with your representative. And I mean, if I'm buying 1,000 units of something or 500 units of something, I want to make sure that I can talk to somebody when I need stuff, that I can get my questions answered. So I would always recommend that you contact them by phone if possible. If not, you can use the email or the contact form or whatever else they've got on their website. And I would also recommend that before you make a decision, if possible, you contact multiple suppliers. Okay.
And so just to be clear, we're contacting multiple suppliers for the same or like similar product. So we're not, so in that whole spreadsheet, we're narrowing it down to say just fire starters and contacting multiple fire starter suppliers.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to contact all of the suppliers that we can. And here's why, is that again, maybe one of them will have a lower price, or I can say that I'm going to get it from so-and-so for a lower price. It gives me some leverage. It also gives me some options. Okay, so I'm going to contact multiple suppliers, and here is the sort of things that I'm going to be asking them. Okay, and this is very important, and it's also cool because these are sort of in order, the things that you need to have answered by your suppliers. So first of all, and this is the most important, is find out if they have that product in stock or can they get it. Now here's the thing, a lot of times they don't have it in stock. A lot of times they have to get it manufactured. They get it from someone else. Some of them won't have them in stock, and some of them can't get it in time. So I want something where they can get it to me in a week or 10 days. I don't want to wait forever on them. So really important before you even continue on the discussion with them is, can you get the product I want, and can you get it in the time frame that I want? If they can't, and some of them can't, no problem, we're on to the next supplier. If they can get me the product that I want in the time that I want it, the next thing I need to know is, can they label the product and the packaging with my brand? Okay? Because I want something that I can make my very own. So can they label it for me? And remember, if you remember, when we went and looked at this, I mean, it was really clear that this is the exact same thing, except they look at what they did. They got this branded with their company on it. So can I do that on the packaging and on the product itself?
And just to be clear, this is private labeling. This isn't adding the shipping label. This question is, can you print my actual brand right there on the item itself?
Yep, and guess what? If they can't, on to the next supplier, because that's important for us, right? So then if they can do that, well, how does your labeling product work? Right? So if they tell me I can label your product, I can brand your product, well, I want to know like, well, how does that work? I mean, do I just send you the name? What does it look like on the box? How does that happen? Do you need me to create you an actual logo and send that to you? Some of them, they all will need different things, and they will all have different amounts that they can label the package. Some of them will just say, we can put your company or your product name on the box. Here's what it will look like. And we can put it on the product. Here's what it'll look like. All you need to do is tell me what you want it to have on there. Some of them will let you basically do the entire box, where the whole thing will be completely unique to you, and they want that in a PDF. So you need to know what they need in order to get the labeling, okay? And make sure that you can deliver that to them if you can. And again, that's going to be different for each and every supplier. And then, very important, what are the price tiers? Okay, so you saw those things where they said, well, it's $1 to $2. Sometimes that means if you buy 200, they're $2, but if you buy 300, they're $1. Okay, and so you want to make sure that you know what their price tiers are. So what are the different price tiers? And they usually have a sheet of like what we'll call it a one sheet, where they'll have the product and they'll have all the price tiers that they'll email off to you or send you. But they can tell you right off the bat, if you order 1,000, they cost you 70 cents. If you order 500, they cost you $1.50. Now, the reason why you want to ask this is sometimes it's about the same price to go up to the next tier, and you get, much more quantity, only spending a little bit more money. So again, you want to know what those price tiers are so you can make an educated decision on it. And then if the price is right, you can do the labeling, they can get the product. You want to know, if I made an order, when will you have the product ready to ship? Some of them will say we can have it ready in a week. Some will say a month. Some will say 5 days, but you want it to be relatively quick so that we can get it to Amazon and get making money. I would say if they can't have it labeled and ready to ship within 5 to 10 days, I would find somebody else. So find out if they can ship it as soon as you're ready to make the payment. And then, pretty important, will they send you a sample? So will they label it and send you one of them so that you can see what it looks like? They should be able to turn that around in no time at all. So most of them will send you a sample of what the product is. Why do you want that? Well, I want to make sure that it works. I want to see what the packaging looks like. I want to see what the product is before I order 500 or 1,000 of them, right? Most all of them will be willing to send you a sample of the product. And then if you're ready to move on it, you want to ask them, how do I get set up to purchase? Okay. Some of them will have a form that you need to fill out with your information. Fill out the form and send it to them. And how can I pay you? Some will say a bank transfer. Some will say PayPal. Some will say credit card. Now, here's what I would suggest. For your first purchase from a supplier that you've never worked with, make sure that you buy it on something that is reversible. Okay, I've never run into this problem, but I wouldn't do a bank transfer on my first purchase. Why? I don't know anything about them. But with PayPal, I can reverse that charge and dispute it. With my credit card, I can reverse that charge and dispute it if they don't deliver the product to me. So make sure that for the first purchase, you can use, PayPal or credit card. Some of them will ask for a bank transfer. I would highly recommend you don't do that for your first shipment. Then what you want to know is once you get up to set up to purchase, is it okay if you send them the UPS label and the shipping information? And if not, what shipping will they use? Most of them will use whatever you want. And the reason is because we can create shipping labels in Amazon for, anything that they might use, DHL, UPS, FedEx. We want them to use UPS because Amazon gets a discount rate on it.
And,
And then,
and just to be
yep,
clear, so and this is great for if you're in a different country. If you're in the UK, Europe,
yeah.
Australia, overseas, whatever,
Oh yeah.
this means that it doesn't have to go through you. It's not like they mail it to you and then you mail it to Amazon. You can generate the label in Amazon, give it to them, and then they mail it directly from wherever the heck in the world they are right to Amazon's warehouse for you.
Yep, that's absolutely right. So they ship it in from you, and so find out what shipping they're going to use, and then you need to know for Amazon later on what address they'll be shipping from. And they might not, the person you're speaking with might not have that information right now, and it's okay. They can get back to you before it actually ships. So you might get that information a little bit later on, which is okay. And then if they know what are the dimensions and weight of each box that they will be shipping. And again, they might not know that information right at that time, so they might get that back to you later. Okay, so let's look at some of the suppliers and sort of show how we would contact them. So for ours, I mean, we found these fire starter things, and I remember this one was the cheapest one. So let's go to this link here and see what kind of information the person has for us. So $1 to $2 per piece. They've got this contact here. They take PayPal. That's good. And no other information in order to contact them. Well, that's fine. Oh,
Is that
here we go.
contact details?
Contact
Yep.
details. And see what they've got. So cool. They do have a telephone number that I could call and talk to them. And I would pick up the phone and call these people, even though they're in China. And what's awesome is if you have Skype, you can just pick it up and call them. Otherwise, let's say you didn't have this and you didn't have a way, what I would do is, and I mean, let's actually do this. Let's say I didn't want to make this long distance call to China, plus I know it's probably the middle of the night. I can see that the person's offline. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put in my email, and we'll send them a message. So we'll say, hello, Mr. Barillas. I'm getting that from right here. And I'll put, how about, my name is Lance Tomashiro, and I represent Double Agent Marketing LLC. We sell products on Amazon and are interested in purchasing these. What are they? Let's see if we can go back. I'll grab this. These fire starters from you. And then I'll put in this link so he knows which ones I'm talking about. And then I'll say, I would like to speak with you or one of your representatives about this product. Please contact or call me at, we'll put in our number here, 542-9770. Specifically, I would like to discuss, and then what we'll do, let's see, do you have this product in stock? 2, are you able to label the product and packaging with our brand? 3, how does your labeling process work? What are your price tiers? Will you send me a sample? And then how about how do I get set up to purchase? We are looking to make this purchase immediately. Thanks for your time. And we'll put our phone number again so they can contact us. And let's copy this out. So we have this, and then we'll hit send. Oops. And you might have to sign in or create an account. Oops. Let's see. Do I have? I know I have an account here. Let me find this login real quick. Editor. All right, there it is. So we'll log in. All right, let's do this. Show my screen again here. We'll go. And we'll send that message. All right, so that's sent off, and they will either call me or get back to me or not. And if they don't, what do? Well, I'm going to contact more suppliers. But basically, you want to talk to them so that you can get the information, but still let them know up front that you are in business, that you want to make this purchase, and then so that they can get back to you and have the information that they need. So again, I would try to get them on the phone as soon as possible in the process. I want to make sure that I can communicate with them. I want to make sure that they're available. So once you have contacted some suppliers and you find one that you're going to want to use, you need to go forward with purchasing your product. And here's what you're going to do. First of all, you're going to complete their purchase process. And again, this will vary based on supplier. I recommend that you use a credit card or PayPal, something that you can reverse the transaction for the first time if you need to. They may or may not have some forms for you to fill out. If they do, fill them out and then send them their payment. Some of them will take, because it's your first purchase, some will want the payment up front, some will want some up front to start the manufacturing, and then the rest on delivery, but that'll all be negotiated when you talk to the supplier. They'll let you know that. So now here's the thing. Once you send the payment, that's when you want to get the labeling information from them. Okay, so that is, what do they need from you in order to label your product? So some of them will give you, they'll just say, we need the name of your product. Some of them will actually give you like a PDF form that's a template for you to fill out. And then you could send that to Fiverr. You could design it on your own, but they'll tell you, we need a PDF that is this size and these dimensions. And they'll tell you each piece that they need for the labeling. So you need to get that figured out and sent back to them. And then you send that design or the labeling back to your supplier in whatever format that they want.
And just to be clear, once again, just so we're being 100% thorough here, is that this is the private labeling. So when we're talking about labeling here, this is not the shipping label. This is your product brand name on the thing itself, on the item.
That's right. The actual, like, making the item, whatever it is that you call it. And then you're going to send your manufacturer, your supplier, the FBA shipment information, okay? And this is the shipping label. And we'll show you how you create that for them in a second. And then all you do is sit back and wait for Amazon to receive that shipment. They list it and they start selling it for you right away. So here's about the package design and product name, because I know a lot of you are going to get held up on this. You're thinking, well, I don't even know what product I'm going to sell. I don't know what I'm going to call it. Here's the most important thing. You can change the name of the product or the design at any time that you want. What's more important is that you get something to Amazon and you get that listing made first. So you can change the physical packaging from the supplier in your next shipment that comes in, so you're not tied to it. You just go through the shipping the labeling product of the product itself differently. You send them updated ones. They don't care what they put on it. They'll change it for you every time. And on the Amazon listing, all you have to do is edit the listing. So you can change it in your product or on Amazon at any time that you want. So don't overthink this. Just pick something that fits the market, get the product made, and you can go back and change it. Now here's the only thing I would say is that make sure that whatever it is that you pick isn't trademarked by another company. Okay, so you can do a search on Amazon, you can do a search at the uspto.gov and do a trademark search just to make sure that whatever you're calling your product isn't already trademarked. And then what you do is I would recommend that you include your main keyword in the product if possible. Okay, so don't overthink this. You can change it at any time, both on Amazon and at the physical packaging.
And I know we mentioned in the previous module about how it's best if you have an entity, it's best if you have an LLC, but if you still don't have that, don't let that hold you up. You can still sell this as a sole proprietor. It just helps you a lot more, come tax time, because you can keep all your finances separate and you get a little bit of a tax savings right there. But if you have an LLC, great, because that means that you can, pay for the credit card or like the debit card the LLC set up. But if you don't have one, you're still a sole proprietor. You still use the same Seller Central account that you use, so don't let that hold you up.
Yeah, not necessary at all. So you that's getting your package designed and naming your product. Once you do that, you're going to list the product. Okay, and it's kind of the same as we went through before. We're going to log into our Seller Central. We're going to go to inventory, add a product, but this time what we're going to do is we're going to create a new product. We don't want to piggyback on somebody else's stuff. We want to actually create our own new product, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to set up our basic listing now. We don't have the product yet, but we still need to set up the basic listing. We're going to optimize it while we're waiting for the shipment to come in, and we're going to get it all set up to compete with our competitors in the next module. For now, we just want that basic listing set up, and the information that they're going to want will change depending on your category that you choose. But remember, it's all changeable later, and we'll deal with that in the next module. All you really have to enter is the information that is starred. Okay, so that's usually the name of the product. Again, don't overthink it. The manufacturer, that's you or whatever you want it to see, and then the barcode or the UPC code, and that's just the number. Now here's the thing. The reason why you need to have a barcode or a UPC code is that then nobody else can sell your product. Okay, you can get those all over the internet. We get ours from a site called codeupc.net. They're about $2 a piece. Or if you go to dropshipceo.com/support, when you get to this point, we will provide your first one for you. We've already bought them for you after you complete the challenge at the end of this, so that you don't even need to get your own UPC code or barcode. We've got one for you already. After you finish that challenge, go to dropshipceo.com/support, let them know, and they'll send you your own unique UPC code. So let's list one. So Robert, I'm thinking, just based on what we've seen in the stuff right now, we're going to go ahead with these fire starters for sure. But the first thing I want to do is I want to check and make sure that anything that we put into Amazon is not trademarked. So what I'm going to do is go to uspto.gov.com, and then what I want to do is go to trademarks and then trademark search. And then I just want to do a basic word mark search. And let's just say I don't want to overthink this too much. What should we call our thing? How about 2A? I
Marketing?
want some key.
Or
We'll
oh,
just call it 2A fire starter. And then I kind of want camping or survival. Can we
okay.
call it camping survival fire starter, right? Submit the query for all terms. No
And
records.
then the thing that I would
That
do in
one.
addition to that is try to search this in pieces. Because the only tricky thing that there is about trademarks is, for example, like there's a company called O'Reilly Publishing, and they have a term that's head first trademarked. But trademarks are very specific, so in their case, it's like computer books only. So there might be like, I don't know, fire starters trademarked. So I would try the fire starter part and the 2A survival.
So does this mean that we can't use this term?
That means that you can't use grizzly survival, but I would try
Okay.
searching just that term, just survival fire, and see if just that comes up. Yeah. So like Firestar, but see those ones are dead on the side, so that's okay.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, there's those two, but I would open those up because those might be like, see how there's Firestarter vodka, so that might be you can't use it if you're selling like alcohol, but
So alcoholic beverages.
yeah. So what that means is, so we're good. We can still use that name as long as we're not selling alcoholic beverages.
And let's check this one, right? And this one is for alcoholic beverages vodka. We're not selling that. Here's another one that's live. Dietary supplements. No. Dead. This one's alive. Printed audio, promotional devices. So we're okay there, right?
Yep.
Dead, dead, dead. All right, so I think we're okay, right?
I think so.
All right. So we know we can use Firestarter here, and then we will go to our Seller Central account, and then what we're going to do is just like last time, we're going to go to our inventory, add a product, and again, we don't have this product yet. We just need to get the listing in order, right? So we're going to go to um, instead of finding it on Amazon, it doesn't exist. So we're going to go to create new product, and then we're going to choose a category. So for the category, just whatever it was that you found it in. So ours was in um, outdoors. And again, you can change any of this stuff at any time. So the most important part is that we just get a listing going here. So let's go with, for now, we'll go with sporting goods, I guess.
There's a camping and
Um,
hiking
where do you,
category.
where was that? Did I? Perfect. So we'll go with camping and hiking, and we'll go with camping and hiking equipment for now.
And so if you
And
can't find the category, there's a everything else, right? There's like a catch-all.
yes,
Okay.
and let's do sleeping tents. So for now, we'll just pick foot warmers, canteens. So we'll just do other for now. Select that, and then it'll tell us what information we have to have. So you can see there's these two stars here. So our product name, we are going to call this 2A fire starter, right? 2A fire starter, the manufacturing, possible capitalization error.
Just
No,
their
that's
spell
okay.
check. And I mean, this is good because you include the brand name in the product name, right? Or like because there's like the brand and then the item. So like it says Olympus whatever camera. So even if our company is 2A whatever, we still have 2A Firestarter. We have the entire
Yeah, and
thing.
for the manufacturer, I mean, you can put your name, you can put whatever your, in the last one we put what people see. So I could put, US GTM or whatever I had. Would I have GTM USA?
So depending on the product, you can have it say manufactured by such and such.
Yep, and
Cool.
then nothing else. But now down at the bottom, so we have to put in the product name, the manufacturer, and then we need a UPC code. I've got one over
And
here.
I hope everyone noticed that we're only filling in things with the red stars. We're not filling in any of the extra stuff at all.
No, don't even worry about any of that yet because you'll find out about that in the next module. So we fill that out and then we go to next. And the condition, pretty easy. We'll do this as new. Your price doesn't matter right now. So for now, we'll just put $20 and the quantity, one.
And then just like before, this is almost always one because that quantity means like, are you selling a 4 pack? Well, no, we're just selling them one at a time. And we might be sending in 1,000, but when they click on that buy button, they're only buying one at a time.
And now when I go to my inventory here, see if it's updated. Hasn't updated yet. So let's there it is. It shows up, shows out of stock, and all ready for us to use. Okay, so most important part, just get it listed. Okay, just get it listed. Nothing's up there yet. Amazon isn't showing it anywhere yet. It's just up there and listed because we need it. Because the next step is once we get the information from our supplier, so we're going to get our shipping information to the supplier. So what we need to get them a shipping label, which is what goes outside the boxes, right? So these are what's on the actual box of all of our stuff that our supplier is going to send to Amazon. So in order to do this, when we're to this point, what we're going to do is go to inventory, manage, actually it's just manage inventory, not FBA inventory. We're going to find our product that we want to create the labels for. We're going to select send and replenish inventory, and then we're going to click go. Okay, now a little bit different this time because on the next screen it's going to say where are you shipping from. We want to make sure that this is the supplier's address. Okay, so wherever the supplier is, that's why we need to get that information from the supplier where they're going to be shipping it from. We need that address. This time what we're going to do is we're going to select case packed items. Okay, our supplier is going to be sending 100, 500, 1,000 products to them, and they're all going to be in one case. So we're going to select case packed items, and then it's going to ask us how many units are in each case and the number of cases. And again, this is from the supplier. So what that means is if they're going to send one box with 50 units in it, then we put 50 units per case with one case. If they're going to send 2 boxes with 100 units in each box, then we put 100 units per case, 2 cases. Okay? And again, your supplier will tell you what that is. Then we're going to select Amazon labels these. This is different than last time. So what's going to happen is we don't want to get in the middle of any of this process. Amazon is going to receive our stuff from our manufacturer. They're going to say, oh, this is Lance and Robert's fire starters. They're going to open it up and they're going to do the labeling for us. So again, it never has to come to us. If you have the package dimensions from the supplier, put that in. It is optional, okay? What's most important is you know how much each of the boxes weighs. And then we select pay the labeling fee. And then it will ask us how many packing slips we want to print off to PDF. that is the number of cases that the shippers that they're going to be shipping. And then again, remember that the weight and box dimensions, the dimensions aren't mandatory. They're nice to have, but the weight is very important. And then we download the PDFs that they give us, and instead of printing them, we download them and we email them to our supplier for shipping. So let's get some labels real
Lance,
quick. Yep.
case is just a fancy shipper term for box, right?
For box. Yep, that's
Okay,
right.
cool.
So what we're going to do is when you go to your inventory, you can manage your inventory. And here's what we're going to want set in. So we're going to go to the checkbox here, and then we go to actions, and we're going to go to, oops, why didn't that come in here? Oh, up here, actions, at the top, send or replenish inventory. Okay, and then it's got the right one. So this is the one that we're going to be sending in. We want to convert this to FBA approved. So we're going to do convert and send to FBA fulfilled. So they're now switching that over for us. And then we create our new shipping plan. Now here's what's important. Make sure you have your ship from address says from your supplier. So if you need to change that, you change it here and then fill in the information that it's going to be shipping from. We don't have that yet. We're going to choose case packed and then continue. And then this time, here's what it's going to be. So what units per case? So let's just say we're getting 50 units sent in, and it'll be in one case. And then whatever those dimensions will be. So if it's 19 by 12 by 12, and then click save. Okay, so then it fills that in for us. We'll go to continue. We don't need to worry about the prep stuff, just like last time.
And when this next screen comes up for you, if Amazon is asking you to mail to 3 or 5 different places all around the country, you need to tell Amazon that you only want to mail to one single place. So you go to Settings, Fulfillment by Amazon, and then make the inventory placement option. So click edit and make sure that you're using the inventory placement service, not the distributed inventory placement. So distributed means that when you want to send in your inventory to Amazon, they'll say, well, cool, mail some to Philadelphia, mail some to California, and this way you mail them all to one single place, and then Amazon will distribute it from that single location, because Amazon wants to have some of your items on the East Coast, some on the West Coast, some in the middle. So this way, instead of you having to mail them all to their centers all on your own, you mail just one of their distribution centers, and then once it hits that one, then it will further on expand throughout the country. So settings, fulfillment by Amazon, inventory placement service.
And then what we'll do is on printing the labels this time, we don't need to do this at this point. We just do print labels and it downloads the PDF. And then we'll send that PDF over to our manufacturer.
So they'll put it in the box, they'll put the labels on it, and then they will ship it to Amazon.
Yep. And then when we go here, we've got the box that's going to come in with 50 units. We go to approve shipment. And Amazon's going to go through and create everything for us. And now, once it's there, we go to work on shipment. And then here's the part. So we always want it to be small parcel delivery. If it's UPS, which we hope they'll have us use, perfect. If not, we've got Federal Express, DHL, whichever one they want, but try to get your company to use UPS. And then we put in the box weight. So if it's 20 pounds, that would be enough. You don't have to have the dimensions. If you have them, that's good. Then you do calculate, and it figures out the shipping cost. You agree and accept the charges, and then print the box labels. And then you send them the labels for the shipping and the labels that go inside. Okay, so once you've got that done, you have everything that you need for them to send it straight there. You've got your product private labeled, and you are ready to sell right on there. And yes, Amazon will put those barcodes right on the products for you when they receive them. So remember, the most important part about this entire process is picking the right candidate products, okay? So in order to do that, you'd use the 100 bestseller list for each category. Amazon will either give those to you, or you can just do that search that we did, Amazon bestseller, and then you can drill down into all of the different categories. You want to make sure that your potential product has at least 20 reviews, that it's priced on Amazon, selling on Amazon between $10 and $50, that it has private label potential. So it's not a brand name, it's not driven by the products, and that your profit margin is at least 100% or more. So what we found was products that sell, I don't know what we're going to end up getting them for, between $1 and $2, and sell on Amazon for $20. And you want to make sure there's at least other similar products. To do that, we did the keyword search, okay? So when you're finding your products, you want to get about 10 of those together and then start doing the searches for your suppliers. So remember, there's a big difference between the scanning business model and the private label business models. And what we would suggest is you move from that scanning to the private labeling as quick as possible, because that's where the real hands-off is. That's where the bigger profit margins are. To find a product, you look at that top 100 list of each and every category that you're interested in. You find your supplier, you contact them and order products from them. And then you, for now, create that initial listing. The initial listing will let you create the shipping labels for the product. And remember, nothing is listed on Amazon until they actually receive the product. So don't worry that we didn't fill anything back in. We're going to go over that in the very next module once you know what it is that you're going to be selling. And so now we want to make sure that you can do all of this. So what we want you to do is go to the members area, dropshipceo.com/members, and answer these questions. What time and date will you have your candidate products picked? So that's the list that we made inside of our Google Drive. So just pick some products that you think you can get your candidates with. What time and date will you contact your potential suppliers by? What time and date will you actually pick a supplier? And what time and date will you have that first order made? And once you get that done, come back, type in "I am done" in the comment box, and we'll send you a barcode that you can use for your product and your initial listing. So go ahead to the members area. I'll head over there with you guys right now and answer those as well. So I'm going to go back to the members area. Looks like everybody must be going to the members area. And the easy way to do this is just copy and paste this out of here and go to your comments. And so what I'm going to do is we'll have our candidates products picked by, let's see, what is it? March 3rd at, we'll call it, I want to do a couple more, so we'll call it 5 p.m. Eastern. We will contact all of the suppliers by March 4th.
March 5th and 6th, right?
Oh, yes, you're right.
Unless you got a time machine.
March 5th. So contact them tomorrow. So we'll have everybody contacted by 5 p.m. Eastern. I want to have some time to talk to them, to get them on the phone. So I'll have a supplier picked, we'll say by March 10th at 5 Eastern, hopefully sooner. And then once I have that supplier picked, I'll have my order done on the same day. So March, how about 11th at 5 Eastern. Okay, so give yourself a little bit of time. Fill it all in, and we look forward to seeing you in the next module where we're going to take that product and show you how to get traffic to it, how to make sales, and how to end up for you on that bestsellers list, letting Amazon sell your product for you. So this has been Lance Tomashiro and Robert Plank. Go ahead, fill out that challenge, and we will see you in Module 3.